Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So, I have got a huge announcement that I'm so excited to share with you. It's about a project that I've been working on for the last 3 years, and it's the single hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And I couldn't be more grateful for you guys in helping to make it all possible. Now, as you might know, I've been making videos here on this YouTube channel for the last 6 years, and we somehow managed to grow to 1 million subscribers while I was working as a doctor, and trying to juggle my full-time job with making these videos, with growing the business, with studying for my exams, and trying to do that all without burning out. And along the way, people kept on asking, how are you so productive? How do you manage your time? How do you manage to do all these things? Now, back when I was in medical school, I just had one productivity method, and that was basically a combination of discipline and efficiency. If I needed to work, I would just get on with it, regardless of how I felt about it, and I would find whatever ways I could to be the most efficient with my time. I would try out hundreds and hundreds of productivity apps to try and find that one app that's gonna make me 2% more efficient. But when I graduated medical school and started working as a doctor, then this method of just work harder or just be more efficient, it really wasn't working, and I found myself quite drained and quite unhappy quite a lot of the time. I was still working hard, I was still being just as efficient, but I somehow didn't have the energy to do all of the things that I actually wanted to do without burning out. Now, that was a pretty difficult period in my life, and some people actually started commenting on videos and DMing me being like, hey bro, are you okay? You don't seem that well. But it was that difficult period that ultimately led to an idea that would completely change my life. But then one day, and this was around, I think, late 2018, I had a very draining day at work, and I got home from the end of work thinking like, what the hell is going on? Does work really have to be this draining? Do I have to feel as if, like, to juggle being a doctor with the YouTube, with the studying and stuff, does it really have to feel as grim as it felt at the time? Or could there potentially be a way to actually make this fun? I was like, I knew I'm gonna be a doctor for at least the next 2 years, and at the time I thought I was gonna be a doctor for the rest of my life. Like, is this really what I've signed up for, to just be miserable all the time? Or could there be a way to actually make it fun, to make it feel as if the day job and the side hustle and everything else didn't feel like a grind, but could actually be energizing and enjoyable instead? So I started trying to play around with this idea that what if the secret to productivity isn't discipline? What if the secret to productivity is joy instead? So I did a bunch of experimenting on myself and tried to find ways to make my work more energizing. I came across a bunch of stuff that I read on the internet and in books. I applied it to my life, and then I started sharing videos on the internet on this channel, sharing that philosophy. And it seemed to really resonate with people. And as I started applying it more and more to my life, I started to find that actually working as a doctor became pretty fun, and I would get home from the end of my day of work feeling more energized than when I'd started, which was just completely counter to how I'd previously been approaching things. And then it also meant that I had way more energy to give to my YouTube channel and my business and my studies and all of these other things in my life. I became more productive. I also became less stressed. I also started having way more fun and way more energy. And it was at that point that the channel and the business really started to take off, where I realized that, hang on, like, I've been approaching this all wrong. I've been approaching this, like, all of this stuff in a very grindy kind of discipline-based mindset. But actually, if I just tweaked my mindset and applied a few of these strategies, I could completely transform the way I approached it, which made it way more energizing and way more enjoyable for me. And then a couple of years later, I got an email from a book editor at a very big publishing company who asked, hey Ali, have you ever considered writing a book? And the question from that email has completely taken over my life. I got that email in the summer of 2020, and for the last 3 years, I've been working on this book pretty much every day, and I'm so excited to share it with you. It is called Feel Good Productivity, and it's about how to do more of what matters to you in a way that's enjoyable and feels meaningful and feels sustainable without burning out. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's finally ready, and it's gonna be published in December in countries all around the world, which is absolutely mental. This book is basically a culmination of everything that I've learned about productivity over the last 10 years of being completely obsessed with the topic. And on top of that, for the last 3 years, doing a ton of research to find the most actionable, science-backed, evidence-based strategies that you and I can apply to our lives to boost our productivity, but in a way that actually feels good rather than feels like a total grind. And honestly, it's been such a journey over the last 3 years putting this book together. It's involved reading hundreds and hundreds of scientific papers to see what does the science say about the science of positivity and productivity and creativity and stress. It's involved interviewing a bunch of world experts in the field of productivity, reading their books, reading their textbooks, reading all their research, and spending literally years trying to condense it all and like rewriting and scrapping and throwing away and rewriting. And then it's involved taking those hundreds of thousands of words and working with 3 professional editors from the UK and from the US to make all of the ideas in the book as actionable as possible while also being engaging, so that if you're reading the book, you're getting the most bang for your buck in terms of the time you're investing in reading the book. So what is the book actually about? Well, the core idea of the book is that philosophy that I stumbled on back in 2018 when I first started to realize that grinding wasn't the way forward. And so the core idea is really that the secret to productivity is not discipline, it's joy. Sure, like hard work and grit and discipline and willpower, those things are great in small doses, and they definitely work great for some people. But what I've really found through my personal experience, through all the research, to speaking to all these world experts, is that really the secret to meaningful and sustainable productivity is to find a way to make your work feel energizing, and enjoyable. In other words, if you can make your work feel good, then your productivity takes care of itself. Hence the title, Feel Good Productivity. And this was the realization that I had when I was juggling all these different things in my life. And it's been the basis and the philosophy of my personal productivity ever since. I realized that the more I could make my work feel good, the more productive I was, the more creative I was, and the less stressed I was, and the more energy I had to give not just to my work, but to the other important areas of my life as well. But then when I started researching the book and playing around with these ideas, I realized that this philosophy actually has an enormous scientific basis as well from the fields of psychology and neuroscience. And actually that this idea of making work feel good, making work feel more like play, this is actually not that new. Like there's not been many books written about it, but there have been various Nobel Prize winners and Olympic athletes and mega successful entrepreneurs over the years who have basically found this realization themselves, and that's been the basis of their productivity as well. So that's basically what the book is about. It is a science-backed guide on how to do more of what matters to you in a way that feels enjoyable and meaningful and actually sustainable. And it's packed with actionable and practical takeaways and experiments that you can start applying to your life from basically as soon as you read the book to be more productive, but while also enjoying the journey along the way, because what's the point of productivity if we're going to be miserable at the end of it? Now, very excitingly, Feel Good Productivity is now available for pre-order in countries all around the world. It's available in the US, in the UK, in India, in Canada, Australia, France, Italy, and a bunch more countries. And you can find all of the information with a bunch of other cool animations and stuff on the website feelgoodproductivity.com. Now, the book is being published in December this year, but I would absolutely love it from the bottom of my heart if you would consider pre-ordering the book. And there are 3 main reasons why I'd love for you to pre-order the book. So the first is because this is literally the single best thing I've ever worked on, and I've poured so much blood, sweat, and tears into this to try and make it as useful as is humanly possible for you guys. And it's filled with immediately practical, actionable stuff that you can take away and start applying to your life pretty much from day one. And these strategies are the ones that have completely changed my life and my approach to productivity, but also the ones that, like these Nobel Prize winners and Olympic athletes and stuff, also swear by in some cases. And so you've got stories of them, but also stories of me, so you can apply these to your own life. Now, if you found my videos helpful over the last 6 years, whenever you discovered the channel, so firstly, thank you for that. But if you found the videos helpful, each video has maybe 5 to 10 hours of work that goes into it. This book has had thousands of hours of work that's gone into it. And so if you have found the videos at all helpful, I can basically guarantee that you're going to find the book even more useful, because just based on the maths of the amount of work that's gone into this one little product. And there's so much stuff in this book that I've never talked about in videos before. And also, even if you're a self-help productivity junkie enthusiast like I am, there's a bunch of stuff in here that is completely new that you never would have seen before. The second reason why I'd love for you to pre-order the book is that, honestly, it really helps me out if you pre-order the book. If you've gotten value from my content at all over the last 6 years, I would love it if you could do me this favor. Basically, the more pre-orders we get, the more noise there is around the publication of the book, which means people outside of our core audience and our core community can then hear that the book exists and then can find out about it and can potentially pick it up and read it. And the third reason why I'd love for you to pre-order the book is because very soon I'm going to be announcing a bunch of exciting extras and bonuses for people who have pre-ordered the book. These are going to be exclusive bonuses that either won't be available anywhere else or are going to be mega expensive when they do become available further down the line. So if you do decide to pre-order, then firstly, thank you, because that would be awesome. And secondly, do please save your receipt, and I'll be announcing more details of the pre-order bonuses in a little while. And honestly, I'm so excited to be sharing this with you finally. It has been such a journey over the last 3 years of putting this together, and it's been way harder than I imagined, but also way more rewarding than I'd imagined. And I've learned so much myself throughout this whole process. But along the way, like the highs and lows in this thing of publishing a book and like dealing with imposter syndrome and the fear and like all the extra stuff and all that kind of stuff, the thing that kept me going through it was that, you know, at the end of it, once I have this thing that I can hold up in my hand that people around the world can buy in bookstores, literally anywhere, that would be so sick. And if people can hear the messages that are in the book, I think that would be cool. That would be really awesome. And, you know, this book has, I think, 54 actionable strategies. And so the way I think of a book is like, if I read a book and there's even 1 or 2 things that I take away from there that can apply to my life, that can improve my life, then I think the book has been worth it. And I can basically promise that there will be at least 1 or 2 things that you can take away from this book out of the 54 different experiments we've got in here. I think it's gonna be sick. I'm so excited to be sharing it with you. And if you watched the video up until this point, then honestly, all I can say is thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your support. Whenever you discovered the channel, the fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching, the fact that you subscribe to the channel, the fact that you maybe read my emails or follow me on the other social media platforms, the fact that you leave comments and send emails and DMs saying how much the videos have helped you, that's just so freaking incredible and so nice. And this YouTube channel, even outside of this book, to be honest, is the single most meaningful thing that I've ever done in my life. And I'm hoping to keep going with it basically forever. I like the idea of being able to learn things. And as I learn things, I apply them to my life. And then I share them with you guys through videos on the internet. And the fact that I can make a living and have a team Doing this is just absolutely phenomenal. So thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. If you've been supporting this channel or this journey for any amount of time at all, it really does mean the world. And so that's it from me. If you've gotten this far, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. And I'd love for you to check out the website for the book, feelgoodproductivity.com. It's a pretty cool website. You should check it out, especially check it out on desktop, because if you check it out on desktop, oh, the animations of the website, absolutely sick. And yeah, I'd love it if you would consider pre-ordering the book, maybe even 2 copies, one for you, one for a friend. That would be awesome. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye-bye.